Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you a few questions about the carelessness of students sometimes when they're crossing the street. This is a very informal interview. Just
Okay.
think of it like a conversation
All right.
and try to elaborate as much as you can and speak in complete sentences when I ask you questions.
Okay.
All right. So first off, do you mind introducing yourself just by saying your name, your job title, and how long you've worked here at TCU?
Yeah, my name is Mike Russell. I am the Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs and Dean of Campus Life. I've been at TCU for 25 years.
Awesome. So how often do you see students not using the marked crosswalks that are given for them outside on campus?
Oh, every time I'm on the street.
And how do you feel about that? Do you think it's dangerous for their life, considering there's cars, flying down the street? How does that make you feel?
So I'm ambivalent about the main crosswalk there because it is a crosswalk. So theoretically, if the students are in the street, they're supposed to stop. The fact that there's a light there, I think, causes aggravation for motorists who think they should wait till the light is red. I cross on red when there's no cars, but I don't expect cars to stop for me. The other crosswalks, I wish cars would stop more often.
Mm-hmm. Going off of that, those crosswalks out there are brick, not normal crosswalks. Has the university ever talked about changing those because some cars don't actually notice those as real crosswalks?
Actually, there is a company we've hired to give us an assessment of our street crossings on University, now on Berry, since we have a building across the street on Berry, and on that intersection at Stadium and Bel Air, the four-way stop that everybody hates so much. So we have a company out looking at what our crosswalks should look like. The brick are supposed to be state-of-the-art in terms of delineating where people are supposed to walk. We've talked about adding flashing lights. It's not our street, and so we have to rely on Fort Worth to help us make decisions in that respect.
Okay. Do you often see students sidetracked as they're crossing the street, as on their phone, listening to music, talking to a friend?
Less talking to friends. I don't think students talk to friends anymore. I think a lot of looking down and texting and not paying attention. So I think it's a big problem. But it's true really anywhere on campus. This morning I was at the gym and I was walking down the stairs and a young woman was on her phone walking up. And because she wasn't paying attention, she was right down the middle of the stairs and I just had to stop until she looked up. She was just trying to finish the text or whatever, but I wish that the students would sort of revolt and say, when we're talking and we're out in public, we have to put our phones away and talk to each other.
Have you ever witnessed or had to deal with a student coming in close contact with a car while crossing the street?
Well, we've dealt with students who've been hit.
Were they
But
crossing
actually
at
not during the
crosswalks?
day. That's interesting. Several years ago we had some students hit because the person driving the car had a stroke and lost control of her car. And they're ultimately okay. We had somebody hit on the corner of I think it was Canty in University, but it was a car turning. So were they in the crosswalks? They probably were. Was the carelessness of the car? Probably so.
Has the university ever thought about implementing crossing guards to help with this?
Crossing guards themselves?
Yes, like during busy hours of school
We've
times.
talked about it. I mean, as we brainstorm ways of fixing the problem, we could put an officer out there. It's not a very good use of police time. I've suggested putting a traffic cop in the corner of Bel Air and Stadium just to keep traffic moving. Human solutions to this are not sustainable. It's more tuition dollars spent on that, and we've got to come up with a different way.
Mm-hmm. What are some ways do you think that could help that?
Well, we've talked about putting a bridge over University.
Really?
But the handicap rules are such that the ramp getting up there would start probably near the sidewalk here because you can only go up an inch for every foot. So we got to go up 12 or 14 feet to let a truck go under. That is a bunch of feet of ramp that way. And as we talked about it, we felt like students would probably cross anyway because it'll be faster just to walk across the street. So bridge has been suggested and eliminated. We've talked about building under. so that you can sort of cruise underneath and come up the other side. There's safety concerns there because it tends to be can be a dark sort of area at night, so we've eliminated that. Now we're waiting for this other company to come through and tell us what they think.
So the university definitely has been working on some things to fix this problem?
We have multiple places on these busy streets that we're worried about. Stadium Drive itself has issues. We did fix, I don't know how long you've been at school here, but right there by the blue, we used to have 2 sets of stop signs. You'd stop here and another car would stop here, but it was almost a half a block apart. And so people didn't know what to do. So we've moved that so that it's more like an intersection. And that's worked out really well. So we just narrowed the intersection down.
Awesome. That's all I have for you, but you had great answers. Thank you so
Okay.
much
Oh,
for
you're
your
welcome.
time.